Have you ever been told your English is good enough, or that you have enough knowledge for a test? That little word enough is pretty simple, but man, where we put it in a sentence can feel like a total puzzle. It seems to just jump around all over the place. Well, today, we're going to solve that puzzle together.
So here's the mystery right here. Why do we say someone is driving fast enough, but then turn around and say they have enough money? See that? Enough comes after fast, but before money? It seems totally random, but I promise there's a really simple logic to it. Let's break it down.
All right, let's start with the first and honestly the most important piece of our puzzle. This is all about adjectives. Words that describe stuff like warm, fast, or old. And also adverbs, which describe actions. Once you get this rule, you're halfway there.
And here it is, the main event. In English, the word enough pretty much always comes after the adjective or adverb it's describing. So it's not enough warm, it's warm enough. If you remember anything, remember this right here.
This makes it super clear, right? You can see the correct way, warm enough or fast enough, just sounds right to your ear. And the incorrect versions like enough warm, yeah, they just sound clunky and wrong. The key is to remember, describe the thing first, then say if it's enough.
Okay, so if enough comes after adjectives, what about nouns? Nouns, words for people, places, or things, like milk, glasses, or time. Well, this is the other side of the coin, and the rule is just as simple, but it's the complete opposite.
And there you have it. When we're talking about nouns, enough comes before them. You have enough milk, not milk enough. You need enough glasses, not glasses enough. It's a total flip of that first rule we just talked about.
Putting the two rules next to each other like this really makes it obvious. On the left, the describing word, warm or fast, is first. On the right, the thing, the noun, like milk or time, comes after enough. Seeing it all laid out like this really makes the pattern click, doesn't it?
But just when you think you've got it all sorted, English likes to throw a little curveball at you. Enough of. This little word of has a habit of popping up in some very specific situations, usually when we're talking about a specific defined group of things.
So the rule here is pretty straightforward. You add of when you're pointing to a noun that has a word like the, my, or those in front of it, or when you're using a pronoun. For example, you have enough of that blue paint, or you didn't buy enough of them. The of is what connects enough to that very specific group.
Okay, you ready to go to the next level? This is where mastering the position of enough really pays off, because just by changing its position, you can completely change the meaning of your sentence. It's a subtle thing, but it's super powerful.
Okay, take a look at this sentence. We haven't got enough big nails. Notice where enough is. It's coming before that whole phrase, big nails. So what do you think this actually means? Think back to our noun rule.
Exactly. In this sentence, enough is all about the quantity of big nails. We have some big nails, they're the right size, but we just don't have enough of them. We need more.
Now watch this. Let's look at this version. We haven't got big enough nails. See the shift? Now enough comes after the adjective big, just like our very first rule said. So how does that change the meaning?
And there's the magic. Now we're not talking about quantity anymore. Enough is just describing the adjective big. So this means we're talking about the size of the nails. We might have a whole bucket of nails, but none of them are large enough for the job. Same words, different order, totally different problem to solve.
So now that we've totally nailed the position of enough, let's see how we can use it to build out more complex and interesting sentences. Sentences that talk about actions. This is where enough really starts to connect all our ideas.
Yeah, a really common pattern you'll see is our enough phrase followed by an infinitive. That's just the to form of a verb, like to do, to see, or to eat. This whole structure is perfect for explaining the result or the potential of having a certain quality or quantity.
Let's break it down. It's like building with blocks. You start with a simple fact, she's old. Then you apply our adjective rule, she's old enough. And finally, you add the action that's now possible to do what she wants. See? It's a logical step-by-step way to create a much more detailed sentence.
But wait, what if the action isn't for the main subject of the sentence? What if it's for somebody else? Well, English has a really simple way to handle that. We just slide in the word for and name the person or group.
This little for phrase just neatly clarifies who the action applies to. For example, it's late enough for who? For the staff to stop work. There was enough light for who? For us to see.
And the tomatoes aren't ripe enough for who to eat them? For the children to eat. It's a great little trick for adding important detail.
So to wrap it all up and put a bow on it, here's your cheat sheet. Let's make it super simple. If the word is an adjective or an adverb, a describing word, enough goes after. If it's a noun, a thing, enough goes before. That's pretty much the whole game, right there on one slide.
And that's the secret, really. Whenever you find yourself hesitating about where to put enough, just pause and ask yourself, what word am I trying to describe here? Is it a quality, like warm or fast, or is it a thing, like money or time? Once you have that answer, you'll know exactly where enough is supposed to go. So, was this explainer clear enough for you to finally master the rule?